It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to this week's Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be talking musicals and specifically what they taught us.
I am so raging. I was trying my best there to do that intro without looking at the script, and I got the first line out, had a freak attack, and then looked at the second bit. I'm so annoyed. I was like, right.
There's always next week.
This is the week that I can actually do this really straightforward. I'm so annoyed with myself.
Nearly.
I was like, no, because she said she needed it, and I was like, nope.
Could you imagine though if I just
so
said, right, okay,
annoyed.
go ahead?
No, the panic stations would...
He would have been introduced in a completely different podcast.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Oh,
I'm so annoyed with myself.
Oh, it's all right.
Anyway, how are we doing?
We're doing good. What about you?
I'm alright. I might sound a bit croaky this week and I might have a coughing fit in the middle of it. I finished Youth Project where we were putting on a show in 2 weeks. Finished it on Saturday, woke up on Sunday with a lovely cold.
Of course.
So I'm a bit bunged and a bit chesty. But apart from that, all good, enjoying a bit more free time.
I know, I'm sure you feel like your summer has actually started.
Yeah, there's a little cough just to get a bit of symphony from the viewers. Yeah, this is going to go really well.
Well, it's a good job that we've got some help.
I also have to apologise because I was listening back to last week's episode on Billy Elliot, and it's very clear that I was in the middle of the project and I was very tired because I was talking nonsense at different times in that Billy Elliot podcast. For example, I said inquisical at one point. Very inquisical. Inquisical isn't a word, Lauren.
Oh, right,
I think the word I was looking for was inquisitive.
Oh, right.
Inquisical's not a word.
Oh, I just thought it sounded lovely.
Well, thank you for that, but I wasn't the only one that slipped up. Do you know what you did?
What did
in the
I
last? One of my friends contacted me, wetting herself because she was like, "I'm just listening." That she's just moved to a new house in Amsterdam. How lovely! And she was unpacking her boxes and building furniture, and she felt she needed to send me a wee voice note today to go, just listening to the podcast. At one point, Lauren says, "Do you know what you said?"
No.
I take semi-blame for this.
Okay.
But you said coat hanger at one point.
No, I didn't.
Honestly, listen back.
No, I didn't. No, I know what. I did say coat hanger, but
did?
then I lift my eye. See, if this was filmed, you would be able to see. I knew I was saying
you
coat
knew
hanger.
what you were saying?
Yes, I knew what I was saying.
I think that's an excuse.
No,
but anyway.
I swear, I knew what I was saying, and then I said like a real coat hanger, But you were too busy in one of your wee spiels that you weren't looking at me.
I was probably half asleep, Lauren, to be quite honest with you. I don't know if I'm taking that as an excuse from you.
I promise. Right, that's it. This is being recorded.
I mean, I've owned up to my faux pas.
Here. Come on. I am not precious whenever I say something wrong. Like, I think we all know by now that I definitely will admit whenever I say something wrong, but that I was definitely making a mockery of you.
Okay. Oh well. Let's move on to this week. Do you like what I did there?
Love it.
Sublime.
Sublime.
Let's move on to this week's musical, shall we?
Yes.
So, you're not wearing any pink. I'm very disappointed.
No, I'm not wearing any pink. No, and you're not wearing any leather.
I'm not. I left my chaps at home. Just say the musical really quickly before people turn off.
It's Grease.
We are looking at Grease this week. The phenomenon that is Grease. It's got a huge part of both film history and musical history, doesn't it? It's kind of
and it's got a real hold on people, doesn't it?
100%, yeah, absolutely. Shall we do a bit of background on Grease then? Go for it.
So it is one of what people say, like the magic trio. It's the where somebody wrote the music, lyrics, and the book.
Tell me more. I
love it. So it's Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey. And And then some songs were added by John Farr, is that right? Yeah. So it's Grease. The 1950s USA blue-collar youth subculture known as Greasers, so that's where the name Grease comes from. Yeah. It is a musical that is set in 1959 at a fictional high school called Rydell High in Chicago. And it follows 10 working-class teenagers, though that's debatable if you look at the age of them in the film.
None of them were teenagers playing teenagers, but anyway.
It follows 10 working-class teenagers as they navigate the complexities of peer pressure, politics, another political one, personal core values, and love. So it started in Chicago in 1971, then moved to Broadway in 1972. West End was 1973, and I think out of all the musicals that we've done so far, it's the most revivals.
Yeah.
Would I be right in
saying? It's a money maker, isn't it? So if producers are wanting to make a little bit of money, then you fire out a wee Grease, don't you, every so often?
Yeah. So, it's had 8 revivals, and some, came, within a year of each other. It's just a wee bit mental.
And that first Broadway production, when it finally closed in 1980, after its 3,388 performances, it was the longest running show in Broadway history at that point in time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was nominated for 7 Tonys and 2 Olivier Awards, but I don't think it won any, actually.
No, I don't think it did.
So it wasn't a critical success, but it was certainly a fan favourite, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we have the film, which has the lovely John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John in it.
God rest her soul.
What is lovely about the film is a lot of these guys actually played parts on stage.
Yeah.
So John Travolta didn't play Danny.
No, when he was in the Broadway production.
Yeah. Is it Doody?
He played Doody, yeah.
So he played Doody. Jeff Conaway, who plays Kenickie, and I think he plays a great Kenickie. Yeah. But he was Danny. And I do think that he should have been Danny.
Do you reckon you're not a fan of the JT, the John Travolta?
No, I like him, but I think there was I think it would have really made the film have a different edge to it.
Really? You don't think it was raunchy and risky?
Oh no,
as it was?
Certainly is that.
I mean, when you look at what it deals with, teenage pregnancy, peer pressure, gang violence, themes including love, friendship, teenage rebellion, sexual exploration during adolescence, and to some extent social consciousness and class conflict. It's mental.
Yeah, and you can see why when kids get very excited about maybe wanting to do it in an Amdram sort of situation, that adults need to be very careful.
100%.
Do we do this? Or what age are these kids?
I don't think any children under the age of 18 should be touching it.
No.
But anyway, that's that. Do you want me to tell you what Grease taught me?
Go for it. Yeah.
So Grease taught me, I have a long list here.
Oh, a long list?
Grease taught me that smoking was cool. Greasy hair was a good thing. It's okay to kiss and tell as long as it's in a song.
Oh, okay.
Girls, walk with your breasts pushed forward no matter how awkward it feels. Men are rats.
Yeah.
Okay? You can blow smoke into teachers' faces without consequences. Because that happens in the film.
Oh, I would love to have seen you do that.
Seriously, though, if you want to look cool, you should smoke.
Yeah.
There is nothing more shameful than being a virgin.
I know, that was a bit horrific.
When you think of this is everything that I have picked up from Grease and I have learnt from this show. Your friends just wait till you leave the room before they make fun of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Sandra Day and all the rest of it. The only thing cooler than smoking is smoking while drinking.
Oh, I mean, you learned a real life lesson there.
Aren't tacky and embarrassing. In fact, I didn't even know what a hickey was until I saw Grease. And apparently the hickeys were real. So the hickeys that Kenickie gave Rizzo, he actually just gave her a hickey. It wasn't makeup. Stinking. And that your guardian angel will show up once you screw up your life sufficiently. So panic not. When we all screw up, there will be the guardian angel there to make things right. And a happy ending means changing yourself and compromising your morals for a guy.
Yeah.
What a fantastic show we're talking about this week.
I know, yeah, it's It's a tricky one because in one hand you want to say, oh, it's a great musical because it kind of gets people singing, dancing.
I think that's it. I think it's a great musical because of the music's based on rock and roll, so the soundtrack's real rock and rolly and cool. Yeah.
But the storyline,
my goodness.
And the actions and the suggestiveness, and it's a bit...
That's true. But enough about me, because we're not here on our own, so it's not all about us this week.
No, we have special guests. So I'm going to introduce today's special guests.
Very special. We don't have one, we have two special guests today.
And here they are. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
We're good. This is very exciting. So for those that can't see, because again, we're not filmed yet.
I'm not ever filming. I don't think I've decided.
We'll see.
We'll just blur your face.
Excuse you. Okay, who's the cheeky one in the corner? Introduce yourself.
My name is Caitlin.
And who's the other one?
Definitely the cheeky one.
Yes.
And I'm Jamie.
Okay, and how do you guys know us?
Well, with my sister.
Did you have to look that up?
She was flicking through a book there. How do I know her?
I didn't mix it up. Yes, I'm your sister. I'm your youngest sister. 4.5 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Throwing that in there.
Just throwing that in there. And then obviously know Timmy through Stage Go.
Yeah.
All my life.
She's another Stage Go babe. Back in the day. And Jamie, what about you?
Well, I met you, Timmy, I think, was it maybe 13 years ago, 14 years ago?
That's making us sound really old, Jamie.
Guys and Dolls, that was the first one.
Guys and Dolls, you were my baritone mate.
There was only 3 of us.
Yeah.
Jamie's one from the story then.
Yes, Jamie has been mentioned, just without a name. Yeah. So Jamie is my baritone chum. Very good. And how do you know Caitlin?
Well, I know Katie. Again, just through doing shows. We happened to play opposite each other in High Society. We were 2 of the leads, and now we're engaged.
And have a baby.
Yeah, and so that's how I know Lauren then as well, because...
Sister-in-law.
Family connections.
So
musical theatre brought you two together.
It did.
In a big love bubble. I'm going to book.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'll rue the day I ever step foot in the opera house.
Love it. Love it. Well, the reason we have you two on today is to talk about our musical.
Yeah, you've got quite a close link to this musical this week. Grease.
Yeah, we did.
The look of sheer panic and mortification on your face.
But this is the reason why we chose them, because our podcast is really real, and we don't always have to love everything that we talk about, but we also want to be able to talk about real life and whenever you're in Amdram and stuff. And you guys are connected to this musical, which is, do you want to say it?
Grace.
Yes, and you are connected. How?
Because we were very lucky enough to play Danny and Sandy in the Opera House in, was it 2018?
I think so. I think it was about 2018, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Before good old lockdown. I actually think that was one of my last shows. Ever.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For a reason, or?
Choreography was terrible.
Oh!
Shut up. I think it's some of my best work.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, it was probably the best thing about the show, it and the direction. But as far as the show goes, especially for an Amtram, it's wow. I mean, there's a lot you could say about it.
It's not the easiest to do. Well, do you have any musical lyrical lingos for Grease?
Jamie, you do, don't you?
Oh, well, I think going back, Grease was the first musical I ever seen.
Okay.
Like, as in, outside of Disney movies.
Okay.
Yeah, like Grease was the first one I watched. I remember I did Irish Dancing, and I don't know what age I would have been. I wouldn't have been very old, maybe 6 years old or something. And we were all taken up to one of the dance teachers' houses, and we sat down and we had some munchies, and we watched Grease. And I was blown away, like that was it. Like, I remember being like, I love this, whatever this is, this singing, dancing thing. Wow, I'm into it. But, so there's quite a lot of like musical lyrical lingos for me in that show, because there was a lot of references I heard for the first time.
Yeah.
But the one that sticks out in my head is in Grease Lightning, in the second verse, when he sings, a Palomino dashboard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought for years it was a Ballymena dashboard.
I love it.
So for years I sang a Ballymena dashboard.
Love it. Love it.
That
the
is
fact
a
that
great one.
Palomino, for anybody that doesn't know, is it's actually a horse, but the reason they mentioned it is during the 50s and 60s. I think like Palomino leather was the rage for colours.
Okay.
There you go.
So it was like the classy thing to have, and it's the colour. It's like, do you know that old like goes from like cream into like tan sort of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 So that's Palomino leather.
Okay, not Ballymena.
Not Ballymena leather.
Very different from Ballymena leather. That's a great one. So, you see, Lauren, clearly we're not the only ones that make up our own lyrics.
No, but I mean, I think Grease Lightning is definitely one that people just make up lyrics to. 100%. Even now, like, because obviously we listen to the soundtracks and the cast recordings before we sort of prep. And even when Grease Lightning came on, I was still going, na 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 na. Like, I don't know the words.
It's just so
no
weird,
idea what the words are.
I think there was a bit, I remember reading ages ago about, probably would be great if I could remember what the lyric was, but John Travolta he kept mixing his T's and P's, so it was either heap, and he kept saying heat, and the director was like, no, it's heap, something light, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And he kept on changing it around, so if you actually watch his mouth on in the movie, his mouth isn't doing what the singing is doing.
Oh, really?
They kept just, and it was like he was as if he was tongue-tied.
Oh, so he never got it?
He never got it. Never got it. So the director was like, I just kept it in because only they themselves would have known, but they just couldn't. They kept saying heap instead of heat.
Oh.
So yeah. So there you go. So
Fair
if John
enough.
Travolta can get it wrong. You know what I mean?
We all get tongue-tied every so often, don't we?
Can do it too, you know?
I actually do have loads of misheard lyrics for Grease. So in Summer Lovin', I always thought when it goes, he ran by me, got my soot damp.
Yeah.
I was at Sudan. I don't know what that meant.
Got my Sudan. Did you think Sudan was something? Was it?
Was something? I don't know.
Oh, right, okay.
Got my Sudan. Like, I don't know what it was.
Okay.
Like, no idea. And also, we were always taught the wrong lyrics whenever we did those little snippets in stage school. But I do think, looking back, it was because maybe some of the lyrics were rude and they were changed. Because in Grease Lightning, which
You're
is
not going
complete
to
gibberish.
do the naughty lyric, are you?
Well, yeah, chicks will. We always sang scream.
Yeah.
But it's not scream.
Yeah.
It's cream. I know, but I didn't say the full thing. I just said that.
You said enough. You said enough. I think we all know what they were trying to get at.
But yeah, it's the same with and then the other one they change isn't it? Pussy Wagon.
Yeah. Juicy Wagon, isn't it?
Did we change it?
I don't think so, no.
No?
I'm not so sure we did. No. Although I think there's also like two different versions, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
the same with like the lyrics also are different in Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee. In the movie she sings about Elvis, but actually it was meant to be another person's name. I did write it down.
Oh yes, that's right, you're totally right. I think I have that somewhere, but I can't think.
I think originally they were trying to get Elvis into the film. I think they were trying to cast him in
was he meant to
one
be
of
Vince?
the role, maybe Vince Fontaine or Johnny Casino, or even Teen Angel, and that didn't happen. So I think they nodded to him in the film. Right. He was a picture on the bedroom.
Teen Angel, actually.
Yeah, he would have been an awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I found it. It said, you know how she says the lyric, Elvis, Elvis, keep that pelvis from me.
Yeah.
But it was meant to be Sal. I'm going to do a Lauren here and not say this correctly.
It runs in the family.
Well, I'm dyslexic, so it's offensive. Sal Mino.
I can't really remember.
Mineo was popular, but now mostly forgotten, and the words were no, Sal Mino. I would never stoop so low.
Oh.
So, yeah.
There's actually loads of really cool facts about the film, because they're two different things. If you look at Grease, there's Grease the musical,
and Grease the movie,
the stage version, and then there is Grease the film.
Even the stage versions are different. Yeah. Like the most recent UK tour of Grease I went to see, I nearly didn't recognise the show because there was like songs in it I've never heard before. At one point it was almost like Grease crossed with West Side Story, because the T-Birds were like a fisticuffs gang, and there was a song about bashing someone's head in. I was like, is this Grease I'm seeing? It's really it's weird that a show we'd have so many versions.
Yeah, and I think originally when the show was written, it was a complete parody.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing was a piss take.
Yeah.
You know, that's why at the end of, like, even in the movie, they have the car go up into the sky. It's taking the mick out of it all.
Yeah, that's right, actually. I think because it started as a fictional, you know, like you said, but then it's like a fictional high school in Chicago to kind of like represent the blue collar greasers, which is where we get the grease from. But it's kind of tries to follow they wanted to show peer pressure on the values of teenagers, but in a comical way, but it just didn't turn out.
Yeah.
The comedy side never really came out.
And I think also the original plan was for the film to be an animation.
That's right.
Rather than a feature film.
That's why it's animated at the beginning.
Yeah, and I love those beginning titles. Like, they're really... And you could see how it could have actually been an animation as well. But, yeah, a feature film is probably the better choice there. I was the same with you, Jamie, with the Palomino dashboard. Just Grease Lightning in general, the whole glossary of mechanical parts I had no idea about, so I still don't know what 4-barrel quads are or fuel injection cutoffs. So, what are muffler twins?
No idea.
Exactly. Does anybody know any of these car parts? Not me. That's why I take my car to a garage and I hand it over.
Imagine if you just started singing Grease Lightning and whenever you're dropping your car off and start quoting some of the can you fix the, you know, whatever you've got there.
Things were like innuendos. So the muffler twins.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
She just held her breasts, folks. That's why we don't record video podcasts.
That's what I would have taken from that.
Who knows? Well, then, anything else we've learnt about Grease from you guys?
As in my fun facts, or just us being...
From the show. So any life lessons you learnt before we move on to our connection to the show?
The other one I think that really sticks out for, again, it's the first time hearing some of those references that we all know.
Yeah.
Like, is in Sandra Dee. Or at least in that scene that leads up to it in the movie. Like, there's a lot goes on there.
Yeah.
Dessert wine.
Yeah.
First time ever hearing about that.
Yeah.
What are Twinkies?
I had Twinkies as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Twinkies were.
And that's actually quite a funny wee line when they say about like...
It says here, it's a dessert wine.
And what's the other one? Cooties.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't know what cooties were for years after that, actually.
Always had cooties.
Yeah. It turns out, do you know what cooties are?
Is it like herpes?
No, so cooties was like... It was originally lice. It was like a body louse that was found... That became popular in people's vocabulary after the First World War.
Right, okay.
And then kids then started using it. I think then they described it for like a slang for like head lice.
Okay.
And then after head lice, then kids started using it as like this mythical disease that you could catch from the girls if you kissed them, or the boys if you went too close to them. So, yeah.
Because it's in Hairspray as well, isn't it? She's got cooties. Yeah, there you go. No, I didn't know Cooties either. I actually forgot Cooties is referenced in Grease.
And even who's Sandra Dee? I didn't know who Sandra Dee was.
That is very true. Look at me.
And even, does anybody know what year it's supposed to be set in?
It's set in 1959.
59, so that's why the Troy Donahue thing, because I think they did a movie together around then.
Yeah.
And then for anybody who doesn't know that's listening, Sandra Dee was married to Bobby Darin.
I did
not know. Well, yeah, she was married to Bobby Darin.
Yeah, there's loads of name checks, isn't there? Like, even Doris Day, that was the first time I ever learned who she was, and at the time she was such a massive American actress. And then... Yeah. And then you discover Calamity Jane.
Yeah. We'll talk about that on another podcast. But yeah, sorry.
We're not doing Calamity Jane.
We are.
I resign.
If I had to do Oklahoma, then we're doing Calamity Jane. So.
Calamity Jane in the movie's unbelievable.
Right, but we're not doing that now. So you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So Troy Donahue there was a lot of films in the 1950s. So then it was the 1959. If we were talking about Sandra Dee, where it's mentioned in Look at Me, and it talks about virginity. That was obviously the first time I'd heard about virginity. Yeah. But that lousy with virginity and talks about Rock Hudson because he was gay.
Yeah.
But it says like he turned for Doris Day, but it was just because of the movie. So there was Pillow Talk, Lover Come Back, and Send Me No Flowers are the movies that they did together, where they really convinced the audience that they were in love.
I also didn't know what Rat My Hair means.
I had that too.
Yeah. I don't drink or swear. I don't rat my hair. It's actually, you've just done a twizzling. It's actually teasing and a backcombing technique to give a bit more volume at the roots there, Caitlin. Yeah. See, that's why we love a bit of musical theatre sometimes. Right. On to your links then to Grease and why we've invited you to this particular podcast this week. So, obviously you've said that you had the wonderful pleasure of playing opposite each other.
Yes, we did, and it's one of those things. It's a show that obviously you're very thankful when you do Amdram, you know, to be considered in any role or chorus. It's great because those 3 months of rehearsals and then doing the show, you get that thrill. But it was one of those things of we both got the part and we were like, this is amazing. And then at the same time, then you read the script and you go, oh. Right, on my part alone, it's
very wet, isn't it, for Sandy?
Sandy is the most boring human being I've ever met in my life, and I mean, and again, not just saying this because you're sitting here to me, but the thought of me not getting to do any of your choreography, I was so upset. Like, I was at every rehearsal with Jamie, and everybody's doing dance routines, and I sat on the stage like, I don't get to do anything, because in the musical, Sandy doesn't attend the dance, where in the movie she does.
That's right.
So she actually is supposed to sing.
Did we not throw you in?
Because I actually very cheekily asked you in the director.
She cried.
I didn't cry.
She threw the biggest hissy fit I've ever experienced in my many years.
How dare you? Yes. No, I just read through that script thoroughly and was like, it would not change. Exactly. I was like, it would not change the plot if I was in that dance. Like, it wouldn't change the scenes after and it wouldn't change the scenes before. Could I possibly? Because at the opening of Act 2, we've got the High School Hop and then it goes into Born to Hand Drive. So I was like, could I possibly be in it? And you both kindly were like, yes.
I mean, I feared for my life. I didn't feel there was any other...
Oh, no. Don't you dare.
I've been in those situations many a time in my life and feel
Your
like
whole
I couldn't say no.
That is so mean. No. But I was very lucky enough to be able to do that. So that meant... Because I think there is an option you can. It's not as if we broke any rules or anything. Because the song Hopelessly Devoted wasn't ever in the musical. They then wrote it just for Olivia Newton-John for the movie.
Yeah.
So in the stage version, they only had... What was it called? It's Raining on Prom Night.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be a freeze frame. Sandy sitting in her room listening to the radio, listening to the dance, and she's singing It's Raining on Prom Night. And no offence, it's the most boring song in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
So we scrapped that song and we put in Hopelessly Devoted.
Yeah.
So then it made sense. You know, I'd see him dancing with Cha-Cha, I ran off the stage, and then the next song straight after was Hopelessly Devoted. So in that sense. But Sandy, and kudos to our director, he really tried to make that show a bit more enjoyable, and even the drive-in scene, it's rank.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And we tried to not make it as creepy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was a lot that we really had to kind of do, but here's me, I'm talking as if I've hated every single second of it, but that's not. I just mean it was a weird...
I get what you're saying, because I kind of feel the same about Laurie in Oklahoma. I think the character... Sorry to go back to Oklahoma. I can't help it. I just love it so much. But she's really wet. There's not much that goes on there either. So, yeah, it takes a special actress and a special director to kind of tease a wee bit more out that's maybe not there on the page.
Yeah.
How did you mentioned singing Hopelessly Devoted. How do you have any memories of that in our production? Because I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Not really. Obviously, it's because it's such an iconic song, it was great, but I think, the things you have to expect when you're doing musicals like Grease, the audience members are blittered.
That's what I remember about it.
And any time you sang a song that they knew, they were singing along with you. And it got to the point that you were actually trying to then sing it really slow.
Yeah.
So then they would finish what they were singing so then you could continue on. It just was... Hopefully the photo wasn't too bad, but I felt very sorry for the girl playing Rizzo because when she had to sing, there were worse things I could do. It was just...
It was insane.
It was awful.
Like, it
really
kind
was
of,
awful.
for me, it kind of put a dampener on the production of it because particularly the closer you got to the weekend...
The drunker they got.
The drunker the audiences were, and it was just out of order. Like, it was ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't know how you did that song, because it was literally like a karaoke fest in the auditorium. Yeah. It was crazy.
And I think that's why it's constantly revived. I think it's been revived something like 8 times. It's because audiences love it. Yeah. And they have like a real nostalgia for it and they love to sing along. But that's, as we've mentioned many times before, you don't do that in theatre.
I think though Grease has now become that show where it's like, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's that and Rocky Horror.
Yeah, okay.
It's like those
well, the problem is
shows now that are, right, you know the audience are going to participate here.
But it seems to be that list of shows is getting bigger and bigger now, Jamie. Like Bodyguard, people sing the Whitney Houston songs at the Bodyguard. Do you know any like jukebox musical where the musical numbers are remotely recognisable? Like, audiences just think they can sing along. It's like,
and it's a thing of like, could it not be in a way that they go right from Monday to Friday or whatever, the evening shows, you know, what you say an announcement, please do not sing, but the Friday matinee or the Saturday matinee, sing along if you want to make it that way. So then the people that maybe, but I want to go and sing that song, right, well then you sign up and do Amdram then.
I think society-wise, I don't think that would stop it, to be honest. I think people will just do their own thing anyway. What about you, Jamie? Do you have any lasting memories?
Well, firstly, I know Katie's covered most of it there when she was supposed to be talking about her own. Yeah.
She hasn't talked about yours, so
no.
Well, firstly, I didn't want the part.
Yes, you really did.
I did not want Danny at all.
We couldn't find a Danny at all. Yeah, I remember the casting of that show was really hard work. Like, the boys were just not there. So, carry on. Yeah. How did she end up in the role?
I wanted Kaneki.
Yeah.
And I remember both you and Neil saying to me, Neil Carey, our fabulous director, saying to me, look, you'd be a great Kaneki. You really would. But we don't have a Danny. And you're the only one who can play it, essentially. So I was like, right, okay. I'll give it a go. And so I remember I had a fabulous wig.
Oh, it was great.
My wig was unbelievable.
Jamie's extremely bald.
It wasn't
You're
bald
not extremely bald.
Yeah, you can't be extremely bald. You're just bald.
And you wear it very well.
Extremely no hair. No hair would suffice.
He's bald.
Extremely bald.
However,
you wear.
I don't know why she's saying this because I wasn't bald.
At the time, no.
Heart, so no, it was not.
No. Divorce.
Beheaded movie.
So yeah, I didn't want the part. I ended up getting the part, and straight away, I'll be honest, nothing about Danny in the script when you're reading it is endearing whatsoever. He really is not a likeable person.
No.
And especially this day and age, you know, certain, unless you are going to play it proper, like a full parody, but then there's still things that you didn't seem like you could laugh at. It feels like it's stuck in between two genres. Like, what way are we going to go with this? So the big things probably were the drive-in scene.
Yeah, because we changed it.
That drive-in scene is not nice, and especially with a lively audience.
Yeah.
The things they were shouting when they drink in them.
Really?
Really
absolute filth.
Really
we won't maybe repeat them on the podcast.
Oh my goodness, that's horrific though, that people feel like they...
And then it's like a...
Especially nowadays, that people feel that they can like shout that stuff at actors on stage.
Yeah.
We had the girl that played our Cha-Cha when she took her boy. Like the boys of the show was over. You know what I mean? Danny and Sandy were together, you know. But we had the band up on the stage, up at the top, so we had seats where the pit would have been. And the lady sitting there and called her a word beginning with S when she took her bow. Oh. Yara! And said it. And I was like, she's not actually this person, so she's not, like it was.
Do you know what?
Wild.
I would just take that and go, I did a really good job of playing my part.
Yeah.
I would have taken it, but still. The audiences were mad.
Oh my goodness.
So, how did you cope then? Not really wanting to play the part, not having much on paper.
I mean,
how did you get right
in a lot of those shows, which like when you are in a show where there's a group.
Yeah.
So it's like essentially you split into two groups there. You have the group of the T-Birds and then you've got your Pink Lady. So it was almost like the same way I think of Seven Brides or anything like that, where it's you spend so much time with a very specific group of people that you end up having great fun. You end up getting to know those people really well. And they all seemed like a good bunch of people, Yeah.
That essence of Amdram, really.
Absolutely. And you were willing to work.
Yeah.
If you have a good production team that, aren't just phoning it in. They're not there for a paycheck. They really care about what the product that's going on.
And I think because it's so pants on paper that Neil and I really did work really hard to try and make something of it and to make it a different experience or like a different version of Grease that maybe isn't thrown out every so often. Do you know what I mean? Same musically as well. I know our MD worked hard to try and like shake it up a bit just so that it was more enjoyable and maybe wasn't as cringe or like seedy in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't bubblegum it, that's not the right word, but we tried where the script was failing to kind of do something about it. And Neil in particular.
Largely the audiences are wanting you to just do a reproduction of the movie.
Yeah, because that's what they know.
And we were more than happy at the end, even though some people didn't like it. What was that? We were quite proud of what we were able to do with it in the end.
Yeah.
However, it was like pulling hen's teeth at times. It was very difficult.
And then I don't agree with this, but the show was reviewed.
Yeah.
I hate reviews. And one review in particular was really, really good reading, wasn't it, Kate?
I will read it out.
Okay.
Exactly.
She's got the review here.
I thought it was a letdown a little bit by the lack of chemistry between both main characters.
Love it. And that line is one of the reasons why I wanted you guys on, just to kind of talk about that too.
Like, I was like, this is the love of my life. We just are like, ooh, with each other.
But I think when you're playing two parts which are a bit you can't play it any other way. You can't, put Caitlin and Jamie in it.
But there was chemistry. Like, it wasn't as if they were like two blocks of wood. It just made me roar. It made me laugh so much.
I think to make Grease better, they should go to the extreme. Now, it probably wouldn't get as many audiences, and make it as even more seedy and, not like...
What?
God, no.
Hold on. See, in the film, they wanted to cast a porn actor as the coach.
Oh my!
But they felt that wouldn't have been allowed by the studio. I do think that it was all written for it to be a real adult film, and I think that's where it lacks something, is because they've tried to keep all of that yuckiness in it.
Yeah.
But with a wee bit of like sweetness, and it just doesn't work. So either remove it. Yeah. So either remove it completely.
These are kids.
Yeah. Well, I know they're like 20-something-year-olds playing them, but yeah. So.
Oh. Gosh, no.
Yeah, it's not a favourite of mine. It's a good fun, bop sometimes.
The songs are brilliant. It's great fun. Yeah. The dancing, must admit, was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that was the best fun about it.
It was probably right up there with my top 3 shows I've ever choreographed, because I absolutely loved choreographing.
Can we talk about the time you shouted at Katie?
Love it.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Did anybody get it on camera?
I mean, it was proper, like... Because them two obviously are not like that. That's not the relationship whatsoever. And I know how much Katie respects Tammy.
Yeah.
God, I don't actually remember this.
So
I love this podcast. Brings out everything.
I have been thrown under the bus more times doing this podcast.
But if you shouted at Caitlin, she probably deserved it.
it was absolutely deserved.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a long time coming.
Oh, okay.
Same thing over and over and over. And Katie in the rehearsal room, Tammy can tell you,
Yeah.
she's amazing. She knows she's off book before first rehearsal starts. You know, she knows everybody's lines. She's that girl, like...
Yeah.
She's Patty Simcox in a rehearsal room.
Yeah. So why did I shout at you?
It was the cartwheel.
Yes.
Oh, was it something she didn't have belief in herself?
I can't cartwheel, and I even went to a gymnastics coach to teach me how to cartwheel. And you know, I'm still can't do it, but it was a cartwheel over the leg. But we did a cartwheel over the leg, and then I had to get swept underneath Jamie's legs. But I just couldn't let myself go do it. I always did that. I can't. And I was like, I'll do it on the night. Because every time I did it in rehearsal, I was like, I can't do it. And Demi went through me like a bag of prudence and was just like, are you gonna do it or what? You just have to do it, or we'll just cut it. We'll just cut the whole entire thing. And I was like...
it. But how did that make you feel whenever he said that?
Oh, why are you digging into this?
No, I don't mean like that. No.
She shriveled into nothing.
No, what I mean is...
Died in the corner.
Did it make you look at yourself and go, right, come on, Caitlin, buck up, let's do this?
Yes and no. In the moment, I was like, well, I'll just not do this.
Well, okay, I was going to say, as a sister, I would know that you would then double down and be like, I'm not doing that.
I am telling you. She is putting on this brave face right now.
No, nope. I said in
that is not how she felt at that time. Nope, that's not how you were.
Let me speak my love of my life, please. Let me speak. In that moment, as soon as he shouted, I wanted to be like, well, I'm not going to do it. I was like... I don't have a leg to stand on.
You would have. It looked like you were going to run outside and cry.
Yeah.
I mean,
but did you do it? Was it kept in?
I don't know if it did.
No, it wasn't
we cut
kept
it
in.
because she couldn't do it, so we cut it.
Couldn't do it. But it also actually generally not making an excuse. I actually think it was my dress.
Oh, that's
we did it because it didn't get.
She wasn't wearing her dress in rehearsal.
No, it was then when we got on stage.
Oh, we cut it anyway because of the dress?
Because of the dress.
Right, fair enough.
That's what I mean. It was kept in.
That might have been what I told you just to make you feel better about the fact you couldn't cartwheel still after months of practicing.
The cartwheel was kept in. It was the thing going underneath the legs.
Right, okay.
Also, that sequence, that whole sequence, do you remember?
Is that hand jive?
Yeah, so you have the bit with Cha-Cha.
Yeah.
So, I know I'm speaking to myself here, but that is so fast.
You didn't stop that whole
We had to just... And we... Do you remember just standing that day with the girl playing Cha-Cha, and we just kept doing it and timing it? How quick can we do this?
Yeah.
How quick can we do this? Can we get it in this amount of time? I mean,
just throw her.
There's no...
Yeah.
And I won't lie, I was a real ass in that show because...
But I think because it's so high energy, you would have had to.
It was so high energy, and I wanted it to be wow. I wanted the hand jives section to be like, oh my goodness, could they have thrown any more into that? So, I know expectations were high from my point of view, but apart from Caitlin and her cartwheel, everybody else was able to, fulfill the brief, you know? I'm only joking, Caitlin. You were really wonderful.
Yeah, you did actually have to tear into a few people.
Yeah, and I had to push myself, because I had to go away and research more lifts and, things like that I wouldn't necessarily have been comfortable with. Do you know what I mean? But it just needed to be a bit...
Just ways to keep it fresh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was and do you know what? Every so often I'll look back at some of the production shots, and I can't remember who the photographer was, but they got some crackers of dancers mid-lift and all, and they're upside down, and there's one where there's a guy on the floor, and I think it's Gemma and she's in the middle of cartwheeling over him, and it's just the class. It's the best production photograph I've ever seen of any productions I've been involved in.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was, I enjoyed it and I loved choreographing it. It's definitely up there with my top 3, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what we did, but the source material is slightly pants, isn't it? But
I think as well you had to maintain that discipline a bit more in that show because it was a much younger cast.
And it was a big cast.
Lot of them.
Yeah,
so a lot of young, a lot of them are kids that were doing that. And they're there, they're in a rehearsal room where they're not being used. What do you do? Oh, they sit in the yard and they're having a laugh and they're running around. And it's like, I'm sorry, the focus needs to be here right now. It really does.
And that was the problem, because majority of them were doing 3 other shows at the same time.
Yeah. And I also...
So their focus wasn't they were coming from one other, or I have to leave early because I've got another show. And, back in the day, it was a thing of, no, this is Wednesday is this one, Thursday is that production, and whatever. When you're here, you're in the zone.
And there was a lot of girls, so like I had to think really carefully about who did what number. And I knew that everybody would have to like keep up and work hard, or there was the guts of like 6 or 7 girls that were chomping at the bit to be put into that number, and we're kind of bitching a bit that they weren't in the number in the first place. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, no, you've been chosen by me to be in this number, so you need to work your socks off.
Because if you don't, you're going to be letting me down.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So there was a lot of that going on with that show, because it was just so big. It was such a big cast.
But in that show, you have to mention the ones that stole the show, and they didn't have many lines, really, comparatively. But the people that stole that show, the parts names are Mrs. Lynch. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, like,
I forgot about Eugene.
Unbelievable.
So our Mrs. Lynch is a small character, but we asked.
She got nominated for names for it.
Yeah, she got nominated for an award. Yeah, because she's just a really good actress. So it's my friend Laura, and we asked her in as a favour, because we also didn't have a Miss Lynch. Like, casting that show was really difficult. We just didn't have the people to play the parts at the beginning.
And the
cast we got eventually, established were brilliant, but like Laura played a blinder. We ended up putting her into like Magic Changes and gave her a wee cameo in that. She appeared in the diner in the last scene, but she appeared like with a leather jacket on and like the sun, like, the shades, because she secretly wanted to be part of the gang. But which sounds ridiculous until you see it happening, and it was brilliant. Like, Eugene played a blinder. The one thing that I'll also remember about that show was our Teen Angel, and we had a drag queen play the Teen Angel, and it gave me chills every night, that number. It just worked so well. Like, they were set behind a tab or a gauze, and it went out, and you didn't really see anything on the stage because it had been filled with dry ice, but as the dry ice, all you heard was a voice. And then as the dry ice disappeared, you just saw Teen Angel with the big, massive, orange, like, styrofoam wig. And it just worked really well. And then, the girls came on and danced around. I remember it really well. Yeah.
Oh, you've got some really lovely stories.
There was cat fights to be in that number. All the girls wanted to be in the Teen Angel number, and I was like, no, I'm sorry. I could only choose 12 because of costuming, so at least I could put the brunt of that onto somebody else. There's only 12 costumes. Sorry, girls. Can't have everybody.
Maybe the 12 are the best.
Yeah. But no, there we go. Do you have any other funny musical stories? Not necessarily linked to Grease? Any funny... Caitlin, you have a few, because there were a few you told us about, and we were like, nah, we won't put them into the episode we did on readers' stories or listeners' stories.
Too many. Like, it's actually embarrassing.
Give us 3. We'll give you 3.
Okay.
Give us your Oklahoma one.
Oh no. So again, I got to play Laurie.
One of those nondescript roles.
There's a thing.
I look forward to playing Blousy.
Obviously a theme going there. Got to play Laurie, and I have to say I've got better throughout the years, but my nerves, child, I was not good with my nerves. But got to the song Many a New Day, and I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened, but I sang many a poopy will pond before I poo. And you just saw everyone like looking, because where I was standing and I had all my friends around me, and I was like, many a poo, and it was like, you could see the fear, and then everyone looking at me, and I'm like, poo, and then everybody else just had to continue to sing, and I was like, why did that happen? So that's a fear. Every time I hear that song, it's like,
yeah.
My wig coming off and doing the Christmas panto, which standing at the side of the stage, and we were playing the footman, and they had the glittery stairs, and obviously you're small, so my wig got caught to the banister, and I'm walking, and we obviously have to wear tights on our head, the
tight cap,
the wig on, and I'm dancing away, and it's a wee bit breezy, you know. Why is everyone looking at me? And then you can just see, because we've been told, you know, when you're on stage, you're performing, you know, you don't, if anything happens, you know, even if your leg's broken, you continue. But I could see everybody like looking at me, and I was like, oh no, I could just see my leg dangling on this glittery stair, and I thought, that's it, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. And then the one that kind of tops it off is doing, again, another boring part in The Boyfriend.
Oh,
I don't think that's a boring part.
Oh, she's got definitely more to her than the others.
Is that just the way you played it?
No, I don't think it is a boring part.
That way.
Polly in The Boyfriend, and again, that was one of the shows that I think it was very, not last minute, but we found it hard to find somebody playing opposite me.
It's just boys in amateur theatre.
And I think it was just, my friend knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. Well, are they free to do it? Yes, they are. And other than their drama GCSE, they hadn't really done anything other than that. And the theatre that we were in, it was very intimate. So the stage was just a floor. It wasn't raised or anything. Or raised, sorry. And so the audience were right there. And other than your dad on keys, and I actually don't even know if your brother was on the drums, but that was it. That was the height of the music.
Yeah.
But we were told, you know, when you're performing, try only in the corner of your eye to look at the MD. Don't be staring this way, you know. But I got out, did my bit, came off stage, and the guy playing opposite me kind of fluffed a few of his lines, but I was just, thought it was nerves, thought nothing of it. Got off the side stage, and I was like, are you okay? And he's like, oh yeah. He was like as white as a ghost. Came on, we're about to sing this beautiful duet, and I start, and then Ian's still thumping, and he is not for singing, like I mean not for singing, and he just stares at your dad, just stares like this, and he's still thumping, so I then sing his bit, again, no, still nothing, your dad's still thumping, he just has gone
complete blank.
Oh, no.
So I then had to sing that song as if I was schizophrenic.
Sing it to yourself, yeah.
Sing it to myself, so sang his bit, my bit, his bit, my bit, and then end of Act 1, and then all I kept thinking was, we do a reprise of this song.
No.
Like, is he going to be able to do it? So basically what it was, his friends had come, and they were in the front row, and that just knocked his confidence.
Oh, bless.
So I'm sitting there singing this love song to myself.
Yeah.
Like literally, I'm turning from right to left.
Oh my goodness.
To left to try and get him to, but I was kind of changing the words, like, you know, he's meant to say like you are, and I'm like, am I the most beautiful girl you've seen?
No, yeah.
No, nothing.
And I can't remember, did he catch a hold of himself by the time the reprise came?
Oh, by the reprise, yes, he did.
Okay.
But that was a long 3 minutes.
I'm sure it was.
Has that ever happened to you on stage blanking? Yourself?
No.
No, lucky you. That's good.
No. I am that nerd that knows everyone's lines, and I'm the one that helps other people.
Yeah.
But no,
You've never blanked, touch wood.
Touch wood.
What about you, Jamie? Any funny musical stories apart from our trying to find our baritone notes in Guys and Dolls?
Yeah.
West Side Story.
Yeah. I mean,
where's the action?
That's the only time I think that I've made
A boo-boo.
a proper, you know, a noticeable mistake.
Too much of a professional.
I love when Jamie messes up. It's very rare. I love it.
And yeah, it was, again, when I think about it, I think of you.
Oh no.
Talking to me aside stage. Because you were the first one to come. It wasn't that bad. Nobody know. I don't think anybody would have noticed. I was like, well, clearly they did. Why did you come over to me? It was, I remember standing backstage. We were doing West Side.
Right.
It was when we did Bangers West.
Yeah.
And I was standing backstage and I could hear bread on, bum 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 bum. And oh no, run!
Yeah.
And I was playing ref, so I was the first line.
Okay.
So and it's obviously a very difficult intro coming in. This is the beginning of the quintet. So again, your dad was the MD, and he was in a screen in front of us, so he was bringing us in. Well, because I was running late to the stage, everything was a fluster. Like, I was just too much, right? So I ran out and I just went early before your dad brought us in. Like, maybe a beat, you know? So it was like, the Jets are gonna have their way.
We stuttered, just a wee stutter.
And I remember you trying to sell me, it's fine, it's kind of like, the Jets are gonna have their way. I was like, no, it's not. There's no way it was that. So yeah, no, I think everything else I've been sort of lucky. Maybe the parts I've played as well, that if something did go wrong, I could get away with it.
Okay.
It wasn't really so noticeable.
That must have been like running theme for that show, because that West Side was the same show that at the beginning of the Dance at the Gym. And my dance partner still hadn't made it on stage, so I was about to do, like, and everybody on stage was dancing as a partner, and there was no partner there. And I don't know how she did it, but she literally got there the last millisecond before we were to start the first move, and I kind of gave her the eyes of, like,
Where were you?
And she just mouthed, I'm sorry. But it was fine. But, like, yeah, I think the setup of that theatre is a bit, like, funny. Like, you can very easily be in the dressing room and, like, the show's about to start and you're like, what? Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
That was fun.
That was great. Thank you so much, you two.
Thank you guys.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's plenty of chemistry between the two of you.
I
I
know.
don't think you'd need to worry about that. Would you? Did you burn up?
Well, there was we never got it. It was actually a friend screenshot it and sent it to me, and I thought, yeah, all right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking the time to come and see us today.
Very
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of it.
Thank you. And we shall hopefully have you on again. But
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you for today. And we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, well, that was fun.
It was indeed.
Do you think we should have them back?
I don't know. I might make Caitlin cry again. I mean, who can't do cartwheels?
Well, I actually can't.
Must be a family thing then. Fair enough. Yeah, okay, it's quite interesting what you learn. Not necessarily great lessons in life that we've learned from Grease. It's so weird because I remember literally as a kid, it's probably the first like musical I remember watching on VHS, and I watched it so many times that the VHS stopped working because we had moved into our new house. And I was basically chucked into the front room where there was no carpet down with the TV and the VHS player, and I just watched Grease on repeat while clearly Mum and Dad
We're sorting
fixed
out
up
the house,
yeah. Like it's so. I mean, some of those lessons just aren't really great to learn at. And I was young, like I was definitely
a lot of it
younger
goes
than
over
10.
your head, like whenever you don't understand
Well, I
it.
didn't realise that Rizzo had the potential of being pregnant at the end of it. I didn't. That went completely over my head. But do you remember the parents doing a Grease and Stage Girl?
Yeah. So we did a Grease and Stage Girl whenever we were younger.
Yeah.
And I do remember having that conversation with Sharon, and we've been coming out to it, because we must have all not discovered it at the same time, but we must have thought that we were really cool, and we could have been those characters.
Yeah.
And I do remember Sharon saying, it deals with some really adult things that I don't feel comfortable doing it. And we pestered her so much that I think she changed a lot. We weren't doing it for
Sharon,
audiences
she will
or
have
anything.
rewritten the whole script.
Yeah, and I remember that conversation vividly, and I remember being like, what is she talking about apart from smoking and drinking?
Yeah.
That was all.
Who did you play? Did you...
No, I didn't have. I never had.
Why have I got in my head that you were Paddy Simcox? You'd have been a brilliant Paddy.
No, I wasn't Paddy.
Oh.
No, I never really had parts.
Oh. Okay. I played Danny.
I know you did.
But I was like one boy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They didn't have much of a... But your dad...
My dad was Danny.
That's it.
My mum was Paddy Simcox.
That is what I'm remembering.
Yeah,
it was so, like, watching our parents do it.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Was really
and
funny.
Sharon was Sandy.
Sandy. And then Melanie was Eugene. And she was brilliant. That was like, so the first time I went. So Melanie would have, like, been involved in Stage School on the administration side, and is a great organizer still to this day. But I didn't realise she had that, like, performance side.
I know, and she was a real
really
comedic actress, yeah.
Yeah, really, really funny. Love it. Brilliant. Do you have any fun facts about...
I have a few interesting facts about it. Just,
we golden nuggets before we leave our listeners for this week.
I just love that Jamie Donnelly played Jan in both the film and on stage. That there was meant to be a closing scene in the film, which Danny and Sandy kiss, but this was removed and then it was later lost, and the only available copy they have of it is actually in black and white.
Oh, wow.
So they tried to restore it, but it's not to the standard that they want. Okay. So what they're hoping to do is insert it as the original intended ending for the 50th anniversary in 2028. So in 2028, when we're doing our podcast still, we'll make sure we watch that.
I hope we're doing the podcast still in 2028. That's really cool. So are they just planning on re-releasing it, or are they planning on doing a new version of it?
No, re-releasing it, but hopefully, they have footage and it's in black and white, but they're going to hopefully be able to put colour into that, because obviously technology has advanced a bit more, and then they will add that to the end of the already, film that we
Which is
know
pants
and love,
anyway, because they just fly off in a car, yeah. Oh, that'll be amazing. Yeah. I didn't know about that at all.
So that's kind of it.
Rydell High School was based on Taft High School in Chicago, Illinois, and that school was named after the rock singer Bobby Rydell. So I think that's why then in the film they called it Rydell. And interestingly, that school was used by Britney Spears to film her Hit Me Baby One More Time music video.
Oh, love it. That's
so if you recognise the corridors, that's maybe where from. And Justin Timberlake. Mm-hmm. That's because I've written down JT here. I actually mean John Travolta.
Oh. And you were thinking of Britney Spears, so I can see where the connection was.
Mickey Mouse Club and Annette and her big knockers, which are made reference to in Greece. Sorry, JT, as in John Travolta's sister, is in the movie. She's the one that when they're showing the dance contest on the TV in the diner, she's the one that points to the screen and says, "Look, it's Danny and Sandy."
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, that's cool. There's some fun facts. Are you okay there?
I think I've got through the whole podcast and now I'm deciding to choke.
Okay.
But I've done okay to get this far. I still have a voice.
Yeah.
I've got a voice. No, anyway. Do you have any stand ovations?
I don't really.
Okay.
I mean, I probably could if I was going to go into it and give it lots of love and attention.
Which you aren't willing to do.
But I'm not really willing to do.
I think Rizzo and her There's Worse Things I Can Do steal the show, to be honest. So that's my standing ovation. And a wee nugget for you. Go and listen to Billy Porter, who was the original Lola in Kinky Boots, the musical. Go and listen to Billy Porter's version of Beauty School Dropout. He was in one of the Broadway productions, one of the revivals, and his version of that song is epic.
Maybe could we put it on our playlist?
We will 100% put it on our playlist. So do go check out our playlist on Spotify. It's got all of the episodes there and the musical numbers that we have mentioned. That will 100% go on our playlist.
Brilliant. I'll be listening to it.
It's an absolute gem. It's class. So that's us for this week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a Grease song that we could use as our leaving song. We'll always be together. We'll always be together. Chirp, 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 pop. Wow, wow, waggly dingy dong.
I don't think they're the
words.
That's
not in it. But sure, hello. We just make up the words. Sure, we know this by now.
I know.
Listen, we will be leaving you wanting more. That's our clue for next week.
Bye.